Halftime of Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Ready to pull up Benjamin Zion. We welcome you to the Hardwood Report at the half. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Spurs lead the Knicks 55-48, and for much of the first half, San Antonio has controlled the tempo. The Spurs led by as many as 10, and have spent nearly two-thirds of this game playing with the lead. But despite shooting just 40% from the floor, they're finding ways to stay in front thanks to timely three-point shooting, getting to the free throw line, and taking care of the basketball. Meanwhile, New York is in a familiar position. The Knicks have been here before throughout this postseason. They're shooting 41% from the field, but Jalen Brunson has struggled to find a rhythm. 11 points for Brunson, but it looks off. It took 15 shots to get there, and right now the Knicks offense looks a step out of sync after 9 days off between games. Benji, let's start here. The Spurs led by 7 despite Victor Wembanyama not being the leading scorer. Julian Champagne has 15 points and 6 rebounds. Is this more about San Antonio's depth showing up or New York failing to take away their supporting cast?
I do think this is a little bit more about the Spurs' depth showing up. I mean, Harper was the leading scorer at one point, and that's a rookie. So to see that the New York Knicks are still able to get shots up and actually hustle, play defense, it's a positive sign to me. I don't think, they're coming out lackluster. Even with Jalen Brunson playing hurt as well, it shows that they really have a commitment in this game to actually fight back and win. It's just, can they get over the depth of the San Antonio Spurs and the hot shooting that they have right now? If the starting lineup for the Spurs continues to stay hot and the bench continues to stay hot, then the New York Knicks bench and starting lineup has to do the same thing. We saw Jose Alvarado make some great shots. We saw Landry Shamet start making shots. Jordan Clarkson hasn't been involved yet, but also we've had Robinson being big and staying strong on defense as well. So if the Knicks can put all those combinations together that they need, I think they have a huge chance to stay in this game. Otherwise, you just look to the Spurs to see Wemby, you see Castle, you see especially Champagnie as well in the starting lineup, really showing that this Spurs team can hang. They don't just have to rely on the usuals, De'Aaron Fox. They don't have to rely 110% on Victor Wembanyama, because guess what? They got Harper coming off the bench as well, looking good. And even Cornette looked big down low. He looked big and strong, and, it's proven that this is a really deep Spurs team that they got to play with, the New York Knicks.
One area that really stands out is turnovers. The Knicks have already committed 8. The Spurs have 5. In a game where possessions are at a premium and points are hard to come by, those extra opportunities matter. Benji, how concerned is Mike Brown about ball security moving forward?
I think he's going to mention it in the locker room for sure, but that might not be his number one concern, ironically. I think his number one concern might be, how do we get off shots that are at a high percentage look for us so we can stay in this game? Because, Ryder, without having high percentage shots that are better open looks, that are, better angles to get to the basket, you could see a Spurs team playing enough defense to the point that the New York Knicks get disgruntled. So they need to find a way to get around that defense and able to, get those baskets. I will say, though, the tempo of this game is super fast-paced, I think, for even both teams personally, faster than I've seen them play, in my opinion, in the other series. So I think they're going to stick with that, but then when you're playing at a faster pace, again, where do both teams look to get their open shots off because they're playing so fast? That's something that's going to be talked about in the locker room for sure.
Karl-Anthony Towns has been active on the glass with 5 rebounds, but New York hasn't been able to establish the interior dominance many expected coming into this series. If you're the Knicks, what's the adjustment? More Towns touches, more Brunson pick and roll, or is it simply about making shots?
I think it's about making shots. They're getting the ball, around the horn, that's for sure. You got Cat going inside. You got even Josh Hart trying to get inside. There's a lot of inside-out basketball being played. You got Anunoby, still, playing good on the glass as well, backing people down as Bridges tries to get those open shots as well. He's trying to take jump shots from the elbow. He's looked at three-pointers as well. So I think they got their angles good, when it comes to where they can score. But at the end of the day, where do you go beyond that? Landry Shamet's making those shots. Jose Alvarado's filling in. Like to see Jordan Clarkson a little bit. And if they get more of that production from all of those players, I think they have a big chance in this game.
Let's talk about rest versus rhythm. New York came into this series having not played since May 25th. San Antonio just came off a hard-fought 7-game conference final. Sometimes rest is an advantage. Sometimes it takes a team to get its legs back. Are we seeing a rusty Knicks team here, do you think?
I don't know if I'd say the New York Knicks are rusty. I would say that they're still figuring things out personnel-wise and feel-wise for what they have to do against this San Antonio Spurs team. If they can be the more active team when it comes to being able to lock things down on defense and then actually have their rotations play their roles to the point that they're not exhausting themselves, I think it gives them a huge chance to stay in this game. But at the end of the day, again, as we look back towards the San Antonio Spurs, they're going to be heavily reliant still on a fourth quarter Victor Wembanyama and a fourth quarter De'Aaron Fox and even a fourth quarter Champagnie. We're not forgetting Castle here, but Champagnie's looking good. So I think the New York Knicks have to look at what that fourth quarter lineup is. Maybe they're going to talk about it in the locker room a little bit and just say, be prepared for them, because when they come out, they're going to be firing on all cylinders. And if we can help it as the New York Knicks team, we got to lock them down so that we can, maybe go on a little bit of a run.
Spurs. So you're saying the Spurs are just proving that they've been the better team?
Yeah, with that depth as well. Dylan Harper, again, coming in so quickly and getting all those baskets showed you that they're not just going to put in the bench for a couple minutes of San Antonio Spurs and then go straight back to their starting lineup. They had their rookies playing with vets, and they had the rookies playing with the starters too. So, I mean, it's just a testament to the game of Harper, but also Bryant, that they're able to stick in there with even the veterans and the starting lineup.
Okay. What are you watching for in the second half?
The second half, I would like to see Victor Wembanyama stay engaged. He's got to have that Shaolin mentality. Yeah. Very important. I'd like to see a fourth quarter Fox a little bit and a fourth quarter Champagnie, because he showed that he can lock down those shots. But, maybe we're going to see a fourth quarter Shamet like we saw in Game 2. Maybe we're going to see a fourth quarter Jalen Brunson show up and a fourth quarter Karl Anthony Towns and Bridges showing up as well. If that combination can happen for both teams, I expect fireworks to end this game.
The Knicks expected Jalen Brunson. The Spurs expected Victor Wembanyama. Those are the names that filled the headlines coming to these finals. But through the first 24 minutes, the loudest voice has been Julian Champagnie. Phenomenal, 15 points. 6 rebounds, efficient, relentless. And it reminds you of Kendrick Lamar. Sometimes you got to pop out and show him. One of the biggest stages in basketball. Julian Champagnie is doing exactly that. The Spurs lead the Knicks 55-48 at halftime of Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Third quarter after this, Spurs lead the Knicks 55-48.
Hopefully Champagnie doesn't